Here we go. We're casting now. Can they see us?
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Can you all see us?
Hey, fans out there in TV land.
Why do you gotta touch your chest?
Because I'm.
You're like,
Hey.
you're like grabbing yourself. You're grabbing your man titties.
I don't have those.
I have man titties. I have little man titties, but I do have man. Every man has man titties. Unless you, well, if you have pecs, you have man titties. Pecs or not, you have man titties. You have nothing to say to that.
No. I wasn't really expecting man nipples to be a conversation.
Well,
We're telling everybody it's Kirby night.
It's Kirby night, and then we talk about nipples, and there's his little. Look at that. Look at what I want to do. Look at that. He's so cool. He's so pretty. Look at you.
I want to get him the little bandana from
You want to give him a spear too?
Return to Dreamland.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he's like a tribal man. It's like the indigenous species of Dreamland is like the Waddle Doo, and so they just like throw spears out there.
Let's see here.
What are you doing?
Did you tweet this out? Did you twiddle it?
I just Facebooked it.
You Facebooked it. Did it go on Twiddle?
Oh, did I do the thing? No, I didn't.
Well, I'll do the thing then.
Oh.
Hi, everybody. We got to do the thing. I thought he did the thing.
You
but he
know
didn't do
what?
the thing.
I did it.
I'm tired of your excuses.
They should all just be friends with me on Facebook, and then they would know.
That's true. The Substance TV live cast is, well,
now
live for good times, Kirby debates,
we need to check out this
and
link.
man nipples. There we go.
So yeah, we're calling it the Kirby, like a Kirby event, because we're gonna be playing Superstar, Kirby Superstar. On we're gonna be playing it on Wii. We're gonna be playing it with as faithful as we can. We have a Nintendo Club Prize member, Super Famicom controller.
Ooh,
So.
look how special I am.
Yeah, well, you know.
And
We're gonna be I'm gonna try and run through the whole thing.
Wow, that's pretty dang epic.
That is the Samurai Kirby.
And he looks like Boo. He looks like a weird Boo.
Yeah. He's knocking out the God, what is the name of the bad guy? Something dark something.
Dark something? That's all you've got?
It's from Dreamland 3.
Oh, okay.
This was a gift from a good friend, from Brandon. You know Brandon.
I know
this
Brandon.
is a gift from
You know
Brandon.
Brandon. We know Brandon.
It was, I think they go for like somewhere between like 40 and 80 on eBay. But if you import a bunch of Wii games or DS games, you can become a prize member. I actually had enough. I got like all the Oenden games and Jamming with the Band, a bunch of just Nintendo first-party titles, and then you can register for it. I think it's like 1,000 points or something. Yeah, they actually have some amazing prizes. If you haven't checked them
Yeah,
out.
Japanese always has. The only
Well,
ones that
not
are
just
cool,
the Japanese ones.
but
Hold on.
Nintendo does, and we got the cool Hafanadu cards that I've got. I've got those. Those were like the top prize that one year, last year. Whoa, 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 whoa. He's getting some stuff, everybody. Hold on.
I want to show some prizes off.
I saw one of those. I saw that at a vintage stock.
So this was the Platinum Club prize from last year. It's a button collection. You have like, get a little closer to it. You got all these nice little buttons, and they fit in there. And the cool thing about this,
Sipper T, what's up?
is that you can actually rearrange these squares, and you'll get like a Goomba, or Peach, or Mario. So it's pretty cool. And then they also had this, which you can still get. This is the 2,000 point prize. If you've bought every Nintendo game ever made and somehow never spent your points, you can get a actual Game & Watch replica. It's amazing. It's fully functional. Let me get it out here. The unwrapping. I try and keep it as pristine. But yeah, it's a fully functional replica.
How do you know it's fully
of
functional?
Ball. Oh well.
Huh?
Look at it. Let me play on the cast.
We're doing all night, guys. Game & Watch Ball cast. You've come to the right place.
Look at it. Oh, it's like inverted here. Oh, I lost already.
Oh, you
well.
lost ball.
Yeah, but it's
Jeez.
a very awesome prize. And you can even slide the little battery blocker back in, so it doesn't look like you've been playing it.
Yeah, it's like a cock blocker, but for batteries.
No. Either way, so yep, here we are, Substance TV.
Here we are, Substance TV Live. Yes, coming to you. We'll be playing a little Kirby. We can go watch the feed of the Kirby, but right now we're gonna have a few conversations, some spirited conversations about life.
Capcom and Konami. No, I'm kidding.
Capcom and Konami. Yes, exactly.
Just kidding.
Well, the one thing I kind of was talking about is everybody's up in arms about this new Mass Effect 3 ending.
Oh boy.
And like, I'm just kind of tired of it. I'm kind of tired of hearing about Mass Effect 3 and the ending. I'm just like, I'm done with it. I played the game, I beat it. I'm done with people. People take this game serious, man.
It's serious business.
Serious business.
And to be fair, and I'm not a huge sci-fi guy, so I'm gonna probably step out of my bounds. But I personally feel like the Mass Effect world, probably the best sci-fi world, and I'd say since Star Wars.
I agree. I totally agree. It's a great world, great characters, great races, and I personally like the ending. But I'm actually more pissed that BioWare ended up listening to fans.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have listened. They shouldn't have been like, okay, guys, look, you guys are dickwads. Shut up. We made this game. We created it. It's done. It's just leave it be. Leave it be. You know, it's like that's why I respect about Kojima. He will make games that will piss people off, but he's like, yeah, okay, great. I made Metal Gear Solid 2. Suck it. You wanted Snake? Whoa, Raiden, in your face. Suck it.
See, there's a couple of misconceptions I want to get out of the way. Because right out the door, I feel like when you hear about this new ending, the fans got upset, petitions were made, and they go, okay, we'll change it. Immediately what that does, like, brings to mind is that we are seriously hurting the artistic integrity of video games.
I agree.
That would be like calling up, you know, hey, the Mona Lisa probably should be blonde. We prefer it as a blonde.
She would look
can we get like
blonde.
a schooner in the background or something? You know, that so
Starbucks in the background.
Yeah, we're hurting this movement to show that video games are this truly emotionally engaging experience. They're art. We respect the medium by going in uproar because they didn't give us the experience we wanted, which.
But that's not up to us. Yeah, that's what I think is silly. It's not what we wanted, and that's the problem. By the way, hello, Last Donut, Sir Sable, Algebraic, Zig the Hunter. Man, it's just a partay. Algebraic, I don't think it was BioWare. It was Microsoft or EA who got them to make the new ending.
It's either way. I mean,
yeah, either way,
it's got to go up the chain, and somebody could have cut it. You know, no,
I agree. I agree.
And now this is the thing and this is why I call it a misconception, is because they really don't change a whole lot. You know, and I'm not saying that. I'm not. It's like they don't turn Shepard into, you know, a giant green space alien or something. Like they keep the integrity of the ending. I mean, obviously you have the elusive man. He was very indoctrinated. You've got your decisions to make. They added a decision, okay? And the decision they added is to not decide, which is a pretty good decision. I honestly think.
I think that's one of those things. When it brings a new idea, it's like, what if you just didn't do anything? You know?
Think about it realistically here. Now, everything in the game, they try and give you logical decisions to make, okay?
Right.
So you've got the end of the game, okay? And you're trying to take down the Reapers. You're in your final push, and I'll try and be as vague as possible. And then all of a sudden, you have to make this decision that you didn't even know was a decision. Right. And you're talking to somebody that you don't even, you know, you're talking to somebody.
And there won't be any spoilers.
Yeah.
No spoilers.
No, I'm going to be very vague. You're talking to somebody you've never met before. You're making decisions you've never had to make. It was very unrealistic.
Right.
So it would make sense that Shepard would be like, wait a minute here, this is not my call. Especially considering the fact that they build you up as you're going, and like you have a conversation with somebody during one of the final moments of the game, and they're like, Shepard, you can't save everybody. It's not like you can just make these wave a wand and everybody's better. So by having this fourth decision, I think that is exactly what they needed.
Yeah, but the end point is, with a game, you know, this isn't just like a one-off game, right? This isn't like, you know, for instance, as I use all the time, it's not Bayonetta. The story in Bayonetta is whacked and weird, you know, and I can fly that because I don't get to make decisions either. I just get to play through it. But when you have 3 games that you've gotten to make decisions over the past 4 years, that you've been like vested in, incredibly vested in this one storyline, you're never gonna make everybody happy. They could have had 300 different endings, and you still would have people to still go, Yeah, but it didn't end like how I wanted to, because the problem is the game has always been about I, and the ending, I think for what it was, they did what they could. They're like, okay, either we're gonna spend 5 years making these thousands of customizable endings, or we're gonna give you a limited amount of endings and just go, what were they gonna do? I don't think they had a choice.
The big problem, I think that if you could unify the anger, the big problem was that a lot of the decisions you make, actually the majority of them, really had no impact. And I'm not saying they should make a whole different ending for the Krogan thing or a whole different ending for this. But what I'm saying is take the Fallout 3 approach. And I'm not saying that Fallout 3 had an amazing ending, but when you conclude the game, regardless of what you've done, as the narrator is dialoguing about your experiences, there are certain little edited sequences that will pop in. So say you went and retrieved the Lincoln head and you save the integrity of this tribe or something. They show just a brief thing like, hey, and the experiences of the Wanderer showed that he was capable of kindness, and then they show a scene, and integrity, and they show a scene.
Right.
Like they could have bam, 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 and just had them mix and match in depending on your decisions, and that's sort of what they do. They sort of add that in, and it has that kind of like Shepherd is the best.
Shepherd is the best. Yeah, that's like this new ending. A lot of this new ending came off more cheesy to me. What I liked about the old ending was that there was room, and here's what ruins it all too for me about the ending. There was room for discussion about the old ending. That's why we had all this great dialogue. I mean, you and I talked about it. I talked about Landon. I talked about it with anybody who played Mass Effect 3. I talked about it with. But now with this new ending, it's like, so that's what happens, and you're like, yeah, and that's cut and dry. And so there's the best part about the game, which was this dialogue, is gone.
Yep, is the top still spinning? The Inception.
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
Thing. And it's okay though. I don't feel like it tarnishes the game. I think that all these thinkers who want to have these complex strategies or ideas of the game are still there.
See, just as much as I'm not bothered by the original ending, I'm not bothered by people ruining the ending. I mean, to me, the ending was what I already made it to be. I enjoyed it. I'm going to move on with my life. Just as much as I didn't complain about what BioWare did, I'm not going to complain about what BioWare did a second time.
Well, and if it's all the GameFAQs crybabies are appeased,
that'll never happen.
No.
Cannot appease the GameFAQs.
I know.
Winos.
God, I've been on the Diablo 3 because I like to keep an eye on Diablo 3. I'm playing the crap out of it. I'm in Act 2, just running into the wall on Inferno, and you would think that these guys have just been wronged. Like Blizzard came into their house and just crapped on their computer.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they'll be like,
sodomize them in front of their parents.
Exactly. And they'll say like, I've been in Act 4. I'm in Act 4 Inferno, and on my third character, and you're thinking it's about 40 to 60 hours to get a character that far. So they've gotten like 120, 200 hours out of this game, and they're like, and it was all a waste. I demand a refund. And believe it or not, they've gotten refunds. There have been people who have played this game for 40, 50, 60 hours, demanded a refund from Blizzard, and gotten. And these are the same people who are angry.
Stupidly retarded.
I know.
I don't understand. I can't even.
And they want to say that this game was just totally not worth it. Like, completely not worth it. 6.5 million copies sold in the first week. And you're going to tell me, like, oh, the game sold poorly, it's garbage, it's terrible. No, not at all. No. It is, it is a great game. It really is. And I love the crap out of it. It needs to get balanced. But any of those kind of games do. Like, vanilla Diablo 2. I don't know how many people were there day one on vanilla Diablo 2, but it was a train wreck. It's a complete train wreck. You had, oh hey J.K. Spencer, welcome, welcome to the cast. But yeah, you had the totally broken Battle.net system. You had the drops, the glitches, the bugs. They were all there. I mean, you have to grow with them, and being vocal constructively is how you're going to get these problems fixed. I mean, Blizzard has shown that they patch their games. Like, you say, hey, this is broken, it's going to get looked at, for balancing. And they already are answering. I mean, we're at 1.13a. I mean, how many patches is that at this point? So it's not like they aren't patching the crap out of it. And it's those damn GameFAQs people. I'm sorry, but it's the reason why we ended up changing the BioWare. It's changing the Mass Effect 3 ending.
That's the whole reason, which is stupid and idiotic. But on that subject, we kind of talked about it, and this is something Eric and I, Tal Bain in the room, talked about earlier. This idea that just as much as we talked about people who will buy games who whine and complain about it too much, the thought about people, the human condition of buying something, be it a game, a movie, entertainment and having a bias towards it, in the sense that you buy a game, and I know people, and I'll say it. I will call out Landon. I love you, buddy, if you're watching, but I'll call him out. I don't know if he's here, but Landon, like Catherine, is one of those games you don't want to mess with him. When you don't want to talk about Catherine to Landon, you will piss him off, because you'll be like, he paid like $80 for the special edition, and I swear he played it like twice, 2 or 3 times.
Oh, you should talk to Brandon. He got all the endings, and he owns it on PS3 and 360.
Okay, see, now
he owns 2 different copies.
But the funny thing is, and why I bring this up, it's people who will buy games, and because they own it, they have a bias towards it. Like, they won't admit any wrong. So they won't admit there's anything wrong, or they won't be honest about it. Like the game can do no wrong, essentially. Like, if I bought it, then it's a good game, because the idea is if you admit there's something wrong with it, then you're almost admitting, like, you're admitting fault, or you're admitting that it was bad.
Sure.
There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing.
The thing is that you have to walk down the line. You bought the game, okay? So you have taste. You're trying to prove your taste.
Right.
And it's the same thing with music. You know, you put on a new album, and you're like, I love this. And you're in a car with your buddies, and they all like this.
Like
this
the new
sucks.
Offspring album.
Oh, it's so great. Not that any of us
God.
like it, but when somebody says they don't like the game you like, it is an attack against your own taste. It is how you feel. The thing though is it's just like you said. You know, take for instance when the internet boom happened. Okay, we were all there, the gamers, and we hear about these emulators. Okay, you can now have every game in the whole world ever just at the touch of your fingertips. And how many of you went through the whole list and played them for like a minute? You know, you load it up and you're like, oh, awesome! I can't wait to play through Final Fantasy 6 again. And you get to like level 3 and you quit. But if you went out and bought that game, you would devour it, because it is like.
Well, and that's what J.K. Spencer says here. I bought Duke Nukem Forever, balls of steel, ball. I understand its faults, but I still don't regret buying it. Well, I mean, I think the point is you do see its faults.
Yep.
That's okay. I mean, that's, it's fine to buy something and then say, hey, I see that there's problems with it. It's not a perfect game. That's okay, but that's where I think on the opposite side is people who will buy games and it's almost like, well, I can't say there's any faults, then I've wasted my money.
Yeah, oh yeah, and I guarantee you that you're gonna see that remorse often with MMOs. You know, these guys who are like, they've been in the beta and they've prescribed to the promise that like this company is going to follow through. And a good example of that would be like Star Trek. I don't know if you saw a lot of Star Trek.
Star Trek Online. Well, I remember before it came out, I remember seeing at Target all the the displays for you buy it now, and there's all. I mean, like the ideas behind it sounded really cool, and everyone was really excited for it.
Well, and it was put out by Cryptic, the same guys who did City Heroes, City of Villains. They did Champions Online,
right.
So they weren't MMO virgins. The thing is, though, is that when that game was launching, I was working at GameStop at the time, and we were doing copies, and people were absolutely swearing by it. I mean, they were already going to be offended by somebody's opinion on the game,
right?
And all they had done was pre-ordered it. Like, there were serious fights. They had never even played this game, and they were arguing its integrity and they hadn't even played.
Like Talbot says, yeah, like with glitches and frame rate problems, my copy doesn't do that. I'll have people I'll talk to. I'm like, yeah, there's this and this. Well, it doesn't do it on mine. No, you have the same game I do. Well, mine doesn't. Unless you have a developer Xbox 360 with 5 gigs of RAM, magically, your game will do this. I'm sorry, you have the same 512 megabytes of RAM
Absolutely.
as I do.
And it's probably an inevitability. I mean, it's not like it's not my game doesn't do that. It's that my game hasn't done that yet. You know.
Well, right, and admitting, see, that's why I'm a person. What is this? Is MMO version considered an oxymoron? I think that is kind of like, wait, that's a misnomer. But yeah, kind of by saying there is nothing wrong with admitting faults in your game. That doesn't make the game worse. It does. I mean, in fact, it only makes you a better. I mean, you're better for it. You're a better. You can disseminate culture better. You understand what's good and what's bad. There's nothing wrong with it.
Well, and it's funny too. It sort of goes into that realm also, where being a hardcore fan almost means being the one who hates it the most. Like with Diablo 3, like, these guys were like, well, I don't really hate it. And they're like, well, did you play 2? No. Well, that's why you don't hate it.
That's why you don't hate it.
You don't hate it because you haven't been toiling over these games, You just neck-bearding it up for the last 30 years. And that's the thing, is it becomes this huge, like, cockfight on who hates it the most, because they either see no wrong in it or they see nothing but wrong in it.
Right, and this is where it's like moderation.
Yep.
I found is very hard to find within gaming circles, which is why, something Eric and I have talked about too is a game like, for instance, we love Platinum Games. Okay, I am gay for Platinum Games completely.
In case this might be news to some of you,
just so you might not know, okay, but I am. But like for instance, Platinum Games we absolutely love, but 2 games, Anarchy Reigns and Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, both made by Platinum, but Anarchy Reigns got a different head producer than Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. I'm totally excited for Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. Anarchy Reigns, I'm like, it's all right. But again, there are people who, as far as with companies, it's like they never, like, I'll talk to people about other companies, and they can see no wrong. Like, Jade Empire by BioWare, they're like, no, that's a perfect game. Like, no, Jade Empire is not a perfect game. No, perfect game. I don't see it wrong. It's BioWare. It's perfect. It's BioWare.
I can give you a great example of this, and I will say it. I will stand on my soapbox, and I will say it proudly. I am obsessed with Capcom, even to this day. And this
you are obsessed with Capcom.
And this is,
I can admit that you are obsessed with Capcom.
This is something that I seriously have to defend myself on,
yes, he does.
on many levels. I mean, especially when we got a lot of awesome people like Seth Killian walking out the door, and he is literally saying, I love the community, I don't endorse these products anymore. So I mean, like,
well, good. I respect
there's
that.
no nicer
I totally
way.
respect that, because I hated Seth Killian, Capcom Seth Killian.
Yeah.
Like, every time I saw him in an interview, he was like the most cheeseball. Like, and I know that's not him.
No,
I know
he
that's
is
not
amazing.
Him. But that's why I didn't like him when he was at Capcom, and I can hope he does better, because
at the Dead Rising party at PAX, I got a.
Let me just put on my seriousness cap.
Yeah, right. Hold on a
serious
second.
business.
Hold on
now.
a minute here. No, I got a great chance to talk to Seth Killian about just the whole community and Dead Rising 2, especially being a shocking change, because it was completely Western developed. I mean, it was like Inafune's group was like, yeah, we're kind of looking over it, but not really.
Yeah, they did. That's why I wasn't a big
They did
fan
name it. Yep, they named a Street Fighter 4 boss after him. So
that's why I was never a big fan of Dead Rising 2.
And see, oh my god, I love Dead Rising 2.
Like, the
I
first
love
Dead
the
Rising,
crap out of Dead Rising 2.
The first Dead Rising was kind of and then when I saw Dead Rising 2 and it's Western developed, I'm like...
See, I think the game knocks it out of the park. The combinations, like, you had so many useless items in Dead Rising, and I'm not just saying, like, useless, like, silly joke items.
You still have the same time limit in Dead.
No.
It's like a different...
Yes and no. They changed so much about the game. The AI is so improved that, like, the people that you're saving, you could throw a weapon on them and they will completely survive. Totally self-sufficient. The path following was way better, which was the big problem. The time limit is not a huge deal. It really isn't. You get like 40 minutes to go do a 10-minute task. It's really not that hard. But the problem was that you would end up with like 5 dudes behind you. You got one guy with like a minigun, and you would have think he's like pointing it at himself. He's like just completely retarded.
The original Dead Rising.
But two,
I remember the first people I had to save. Yeah, if you aren't by their side every second, they're dead.
See, SPAC, I'm totally with you. It's respect for the classic Capcom games, but their business decisions recently are just wrong. The thing is that they are the loved to hate. They really are. I mean,
well, yeah, but I think in my opinion, if I look at Dead Rising 2 compared to other Capcom games, okay, I quality-wise, you even look at games made in the Dreamcast era, even the PS2 era, I would say games of that era from Capcom are still light years above a game like Dead Rising 2.
See, and Dead Rising 2 of that year, don't quote me on the year it came out, but I distinctly remember that being my game of the year. Really? And Yahtzee Crenshaw even put it in his top.
Well, Yahtzee, don't listen to Yahtzee.
But the fact is that man hates everything in the world.
He hates everything. He hates everything except if it's a horror game that's really a horror game. If it's a weird puzzle choice game, he has genres he likes. If it's not one of the genres he likes, he completely hates it. So
anyway, to get back on topic, as you can see, I'm a huge Capcom guy. But I am not afraid to say that a lot of the decisions that are made are terrible. Yes. It's very obvious. Like the latest thing with Ono, and how he got real sick, the Street Fighter guy.
Right.
He got real sick and he's in the hospital. And in Japanese culture, when you are in the hospital, I don't care if you went in to have a hangnail looked at. You are showered with gifts and cards of condolence. trust by everyone. I mean, if you shook his hand once, that guy is going to personally find a way to contact you. And of course, we only are seeing one side of the discussion.
Right.
But for Capcom to not acknowledge it, apparently to the amount that they should have. I'm not saying they didn't or they didn't try. A lot of the major blog journalists are going to say. But it sucks. That is not how you treat your employees, and it's very obvious that there is a disparity going on right now with their quality from their production end.
Look here. I mean, perfect point, Talbane. Power Stone to Dragon's Dogma. Okay, Dragon's Dogma. I'd say some good things about it. I did like some things about it, but it's a very westernized Capcom game.
I think it's Demon's Souls.
Dragon's
Dogma is Demon's Souls from
Souls
Capcom.
Skyrim. It's a Demon's Souls Skyrim-esque kind of game, and that's what disappoints me. They try to westernize themselves, and that's not why I like Capcom. Like, I'm not a fan of Skyrim, but hey, have your Skyrims, have the Bethesda, have the people that do that. I don't want Bethesda to make an anime-inspired game. That's not what they do best. So why is Capcom?
Well, I don't want them to publish Wet, but that doesn't stop Bethesda from publishing whatever they feel like.
But you know what I mean. Have those game companies do what they do best. Stop trying to be Western. I know Western games are popular, but that's not why I like Capcom. That's not why I liked Capcom when I was young. That's not why I like them now.
You don't want a country album from Metallica. You if you're a fan, you want it for the specific thing.
Dragon's Dogma was directed by the same guy as Power Stone 2.
Yeah, that's no good.
Wow.
So going on my undying love. So I'm at the Capcom booth at PAX.
Yeah.
And they've got Operation Raccoon City playable, which at the time,
it was a cool idea.
It was really, and
was
I remember playing the game, and I was like, I see potential here. I mean, if it wasn't for the bugs and the game, like the AI, the whole game needed like another year in the oven. But anywho, it was fun. And they got Dragon's Dogma and Street Fighter X Tekken, and the girl, I'm talking to this girl, and I'm just gushing about all of my Capcom history, because that's what you do at PAX. you try and like just start dropping things, so you can get more information, because these guys are like, they feed off of you,
right? Because they know you.
And so they're like, so how'd you like Dragon's Dogma? And she's handing me a poster from Dragon's Dogma, and I was like, yeah, I thought it was terrible. And she's like, oh, and she just stops, and she's like, she's still trying to hand me the poster, and I was like, we're not gonna get any further if I don't take this. So I'm like, fine, I'll read it. And then she's like, okay, so how'd you feel about Raccoon City? I was like, well, it needs a lot more time. I was like, I see the potential and everything. And by this point, there's no more gifts coming out anymore.
There's you've ruined this relationship between you.
Like the whole thing, like there is a severed tie here, and she's Street Fighter X Tekken. I was like, yeah, it's okay, except that you get into a combo and you can pretty much just like one hit somebody. And there was,
it's a terribly glitchy
immediately
game.
Right out the door. I mean, they were patching infinite combos, like immediately, like several of them. It wasn't even like just an anomaly.
No.
So I mean, I was like, the infinite combos. I was like,
when you have more infinites than say Marvel Superheroes, a game that's 15, 20 years old, there's a problem there. There's a problem there when you're a newly developed game from a fighting game company.
Yep.
That's a problem.
So, yeah, well, and it was just, it sort of felt like they were trying to do like this Dead or Alive sort of thing with it, but Dead or Alive had the counter system.
Oh, yeah, the counter system,
you can just shut someone down.
Which I cannot wait for Dead or Alive 5.
It's going to be great. That's going to
be awesome.
But
you can stop that crap before it goes on, and that's the other thing, too, about that game. All the nickeling and diming they're getting you for. The one gem that actually allows you to recover life that was completely broken. I mean, it just...
Well, the gem system was I'm talking about like when I saw it. This was like they had like 4 guys even done. Anywho, so yeah, garbage. And then I got to Resident Evil Revelations, which is, and I will say it right now, next to the GameCube remake, is the best Resident Evil game ever made. I mean, it is so fantastic, and it appeals to the Resident Evil 4 5 people.
Right.
And it appeals to all of the I want shitty camera angles and shitty controls people. I mean, it fits everybody, and it's so great. It's a great package. And all of a sudden, like, everything I had said was gone. I was like, oh, okay. Now we can get back to being,
being good friends.
Being just retarded Capcom fans. But the thing is like, I didn't buy any of those titles. I remember renting Operation Raccoon City, which was very easy to do, mind you, because no one was playing it. And I ended up finishing the campaign, and it was so painful. It was so painful.
JK, there is no DLC on DOA 5. We can confirm that because it was actually on substancetv.net.
It was indeed.
Yeah, there is no DLC. It's going to have some limited edition stuff on it. But, sorry, Algebraic, you're never going to see another good Killer Instinct game unless somehow Retro Studios is still alive after the people that have left. Because I know it was Rare, but Retro Studios I feel has taken over the
ones who
mantle
should.
for
Okay,
Rare.
I'm with
Because they've
you.
done Donkey Kong Country Returns, which, God have mercy, is an amazing game. I see them as the new Rare, but Retro Studios is kind of in trouble now. So, yeah, I don't think you're going to see another good
Killer Instinct. You know, and I'm going to be the elephant in the room here. Killer Instinct was only just a competent fighter for me. I didn't think that it was like,
Dude, it was amazing.
really amazing. Like, no, Saberwolf was amazing.
The first
Saberwolf
time-
on Killer Instinct Gold was amazing.
Yeah, but
that
the
was
first
amazing.
time you
Combo
saw
was
Killer
amazing.
Instinct in the arcades, I remember the first time I saw that, I was like, this is something special. This is something amazing.
Pre-rendered 3D.
Well, at the
guys.
time, but at the time, oh, come on. The first time you saw Killer Instinct and
No.
saw those pre-rendered guys on 3D backgrounds, and you're like,
Yeah.
coming to the Ultra 64, you pissed yourself.
Sure, and I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I only felt like it was competent. I don't think that it really needs everything.
Rare wants to make an HD version of Killer Instinct 1. Yeah, and that's something I've never understood is the legality between Rare and Rare and Nintendo on Killer Instinct. Who owns what of that? Like, did Rare develop it and Nintendo owns the property?
I would be surprised if Nintendo owned Killer Instinct. I really would, and even more so if they did. It just doesn't seem like it would be a franchise. They would be under lock and key. I don't.
No, we must never give all Mega Man Legends 3. Oh god.
You know,
that's-
Mega Man Legends 3. Okay, let's talk about Mega Man Legends 3 for a
no.
second.
Oh,
Okay, now I was dev room. I think I'm in the first hundreds on the serve bots on the US dev room. You could register and become a serve bot. And you get a number so you can get on there and talk about all the cool things that are happening. Anywho, yeah, I was a big fan of it, but they're very right. I mean, it wasn't a commercial product that people really would have bought. It really wouldn't have. And I understand the only place where I feel wronged was they said, you know what, we understand that, so we're gonna let you put your money where your mouth is, and you can buy our prototype. And I heard, from what I heard, it was like 18 to 40 minutes of gameplay, full dungeon, like a free roaming area, and there's a lot of footage of that. And it looked fun, and that was all even done, okay? And if you bought this prototype for like $5, it would show how much people wanted it. The problem is, though, is that they didn't even have 20,000 people register for their ServeBot room, and they advertised the crap out of it. You couldn't go to PAX without hearing about it, and that's like 80,000 gamers that are the people who would
Right.
buy Mega Man Legends. You had it all over Kotaku and Joystick and IGN and 1UP and everywhere, and all you had to do was just like go click on their website. You know what I mean? And you couldn't
join.
You couldn't get that many people. And then if you want to go further, they have these contests, and we're talking about make a monster, make a robot, and we will put it in the game. Like, you can literally make your mark on the Legends series, and you were seeing entries in like the hundreds. And that's the thing, is like there's this disparity.
Well,
and
yeah,
this
I
is the
mean-
kind of stuff that people don't talk about. And I'm not afraid to mention it. I'm not saying that like Capcom made the right decision. I obviously am a huge Legends fan.
Right.
And it was just a terrible thing what happened. But I'm saying that you have to look at this this is a business. And from the business people, there's no amount of heart that can convince
Well,
them.
right, and that's the difference between the fervency of the people that are fans and the amount of fans. And that's why anybody I don't know a Mega Man Legends fan who is like a halfway Mega Man Legends fan.
No, they are or not.
Either you love it like he does, or you're like, Mega Man Legends 3, when I didn't come out, I was like, whatever. But I know people like him and others were completely dismayed, but you're right, they didn't get the support.
Zig, I totally agree with you. Not everyone wants to know everything about a game before playing it. The thing is, though, is it's just there has to be some level of interest.
But Capcom can only, especially in this economy, can only take a risk to such an extent, because we've seen what happens when companies. I mean, now I'm not a fan of them, but Prototype 2, right? Development house shut down. Mind you, this was a game that they thought people would buy, and the game sold horribly. Limited edition.
Kingdom of Amalur.
Kingdom of
That's
Amalur.
a great
That's
representation. I mean,
another one
that's a huge fiasco.
Yeah, exactly. So the fact of the matter is that you can put a game out like that.
Let me
these
tell
days,
JK. Let me tell you about Mega Man Universe. That was probably the worst game I played at PAX. And let me tell you, I played a lot of terrible games. It was so clunky. It was so broken on every level that it would have. I don't know what it would have taken. They would have had to throw the whole thing out and redo it. It really was bad, and that hurts. It hurts so much. They should have just taken the powered up engine, Mega Man Powered Up, and just ported it.
Dude, that would have been great. That would have been great.
And that was exactly
Powered Up, and Maverick Hunter were great. See, and that is what I would tell you a time recently, the PSP era,
Capcom
original PSP era.
Yep.
Capcom owned
They
it,
were
man.
the PSP.
They were the PSP,
PSP.
and they had great games out
Yep.
for it. I mean, the fact that you've got Power Stone. Now we had loading issues, but Power Stone, Darkstalkers, Mega Man, Classic Collection, Puzzle World, Alpha 3, like just out the wazoo amazing games. See, that's the Capcom I love, and that's
Zig. I agree with you. I think that now that we see the reaction, it's obvious. Like, it seems so obvious that they hurt themselves by not putting the game out. Like, the loss that they would have possibly taken
would have come back in karma in the
yeah,
sense
would
of
have hurt
goodwill.
more. And the thing is that
Yeah.
these people just weren't there, and it was a deal. This was a business deal from the get-go, and they never said it any other way. They were like, "Look, guys, this is so different. The way that we're going about developing this game has never been done before."
Right.
And they always said, "Look, this could end very poorly. You know, this could happen, and all it takes is for you people to come through." And I want to get something out of the way. I really love the 100,000 strong for Mega Man Legends. It's a group on Facebook, and they're trying to get 100,000 people, and everybody is so thrilled at the amount of people they got. But you know what? It's totally insincere. Like, I've seen where they're contacting the we want a new ending for Mass Effect 3 people, and they're saying, well, we'll friend you, we'll like your group if you like our group. And it comes to a point where it's like, how many people are really a part of the cause? It's
right,
just
see,
like
that's, to
it's
me,
the same.
That's wrong.
Well, it's like the activist people who are out there with pickets and they don't even know what they're there for.
Right, yeah.
You know?
We are the 99% or whatever. Yeah, that's where, you know, it's got to be, and I think Capcom can smell that from a mile away. I mean, they can see that kind of stuff going on, and that's not what's going to get Capcom to put a game like that. It's going to be sincere fans making a sincere effort to try to get the game to come out, and that's why I only think those kind of groups hurt other games from coming out. You know, because even though I don't care about Mega Man Legends 3, it's that kind of mentality that I think would ruin other games coming out, like Power Stone 3.
Well,
right?
so many
great
people,
Capcom
and so many people bought the 3DS for it. I
Right.
mean, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't have bought one. I still would have been there day one, but it was like the nail in the coffin, you know. And it's, yeah, you know, I'm not on the 100,000 strong list. You know, I actually unliked it when I saw
what they were doing.
The ways that they were going about it. I don't know if you've seen the EX Troopers game. Okay, this is sort of the next phase of like the Capcom is purposefully trolling their fans. They have EX Troopers, which is a offshoot of Lost Planet. I like Lost Planet 2 was awesome.
Lost Planet 2 was
the shit.
amazing. If you played multiplayer,
Yep, it was a shit.
it was amazing.
There is nothing better than yeah. Well, I'm in Capcom time. Okay, that's
I'm
why I have the
Lost
hat on.
Planet
That's
2.
why I have the hat on. No, yeah, you know, grabbing a beer and getting on live
Getting
with your
online, playing
buddies,
with your buddies,
and just
upgrading your weapons.
the best scene was the train. Okay, so
That
there's
train,
So
yeah,
there's an
working
area
together.
where you're in this desert area, and you're on this like train that's traveling across the desert.
Huge jumbo train.
And it's got this cannon that they've stolen, like because you're these rebel guys. You got this cannon that you've stolen. I don't have a Kirby suit. That would be pretty sad, but I would wear it for you, Talbane. But yeah, so you have this cannon, and this giant like graboid-looking Tremors thing comes rocking through the desert.
Yeah, it's huge.
And you have got to you have to keep all the temperature down on this train. You have to like go pick up bullets and load them into this giant mechanism.
One guy's aiming
And
it.
it's a full course meal of taking down this giant thing. There's turrets you can hop in.
It's actual co-op. It's not just four people shooting the same thing. It's
Yep.
like you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this, and it's like, whoa, we're cooperating together and communicating.
Even if I have to have a little bit of poison in there,
Yes.
it's the Gen Moran fight from Monster Hunter. I mean,
Well,
it
it
really
is
is.
the Gen Moran
It's the
fight.
Gen Moran fight.
Although
from
the
Monster
Gen
Hunter.
Moran fight, you could really all do the same thing and still win, really.
Sure.
But I mean, the idea was cool, and then along with the demo for Lost Planet,
It was
2,
a great
was
one.
it awesome? Being
Giant
able to fight
frog
in that-
monster.
Yeah, the frog monster, and getting in that mech that you'd have two guys on the side walking around. Which, by the way,
It is honest to goodness co-op. I mean,
is honest to goodness
It is
co-op.
not five guys shooting it until it dies in artificial hell.
Right.
I mean, it is like, hey, if you go take down this point on him, I'm going to be ready, and we can take advantage.
Well, that's why, like on that salamander boss in the demo, I had guys positioned near his mouth. So when we shot him down, they'd go into his mouth and start shooting
and
blowing
just
up
tearing
from
them
the
apart.
inside.
So Lost Planet, we're big fans of Lost
Oh,
Planet. So then they announced X Troopers, okay? And X Troopers is a new 3DS game, and as you watch it, it pretty much looks like Mega Man Legends 3. Even more so, you have like some of the same assets look eerily similar, and it is a cell shaded.
And they're probably
sort
using the
of
same engine,
kind of
same
thing.
engine,
Oh yeah,
NT frameworks.
yeah, the mobile NT
yeah.
framework mobile. But it became one of these things where, while the game looks amazing, it looks a lot of fun. It has this like Valkyria Chronicles meets Lost Planet.
Right,
look.
right.
But the thing is it's like this game looks just like Mega Man Legends 3. Therefore, Capcom, they're sitting here smoking money and hating their employees, and they go, "What can we do with Mega Man Legends 3? Oh yes, let's take Lost Planet, one of the most hated franchises we've created, and we're going to use all of its parts." And then they laughed maniacally and held flashlights under their shins. They said, "Oh yes, let's ruin the Mega Man Legends fans." Does that sound good?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent.
Oh yes. But yeah, no. It's going to be a great game. Yes, it is on PS3 also.
Yeah, it's on PS3.
Granted, it'll more than likely not come out here at all, but
yeah.
if it does.
But it's that idea, I mean, but you got to think about it too from a business standpoint. You've already invested all this time in this engine. It's kind of stupid not to use those assets.
Well, and
they've already spent money and time into it, so either you throw it away and don't use it at all, or you try to recoup some of that investment. You put into it, and it's like, okay, I can say as a graphic designer, when we do websites at my company, we'll send the people we work with, we send them 3 mocks of a website. You know what we do with the other 2 that aren't chosen? We put them in a folder. We literally put them in a folder, and they're sorted out by the company or the you know, whether it's a dentist or a doctor or a lawyer or whatever it is. And then when we want to make mocks for another site, we'll just like recycle them and use them again until someone picks them, because
a good idea is no longer not a good idea.
Right?
Because,
Yeah, exactly.
Sure,
exactly.
And yeah, the Archie comics are awesome. The new volume's coming out, and it looks sweet. So yeah, it's gonna be good. No, well, to be fair, the NT framework itself, and I don't want to link right now, so but I will. If somebody needs proof, I will tell you. You know, it's when Inafune was first working on the Xbox 360, he built the NT framework engine literally for Mega Man Legends 3. And it was always known to be that. And so he built this engine, and he was like, hey, you know, let's do this. And they were like, nah, let's, you know, you can try, but we're gonna use this engine for something else. So like the NT framework engine literally comes from Mega Man Legends 3. And Inafune's I shouldn't say want. It was a need to do Mega Man Legends 3. I've never really seen Inafune like wigging out because he loves Mega Man Legends 3 so much, as the fact that he has always just said, I promised that we would conclude the series.
Right.
And that is his statement on it. I promised to conclude the series. So it's...
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. Yeah, and I think they're putting out Lost Planet 3 made by the people who made Legendary. That's why, again, I'm like, Capcom,
yeah,
you're good because you develop the games. I don't want to see you do a Konami where you let... Oh, God.
Are we about to talk about Grin and Bionic Commando? That's what okay. Because
no.
I was about to start fighting because I like Bionic Commando.
I'm about to talk about the cardinal sin that's about to be committed.
Oh no.
The cardinal sin that's about to be committed, boys, okay? Mercury Steam already ruined Castlevania.
Contra.
And they're about to ruin the only good Castlevania we had, which is on the DS, okay? Which, yes, was a recycled Metroidvania. Yes, we know that. It's the same game, but it was still good. Contra.
Hold on. I got...
Contra. Mercury Stream is going to do... They want to do freaking Contra. Oh, God, here it is. Pew, 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 pew. Pew, pew.
I got the gun. I haven't saved enough people yet to get the armor or the boots. It's you know, Dead Rising.
While, yeah.
I'm telling you guys, you should see this place. It's like a Capcom abortion.
Capcom shrine.
But yeah, back to the focus and everything.
That Contra, dude. What?
Yeah, no.
Like seriously, that is.
Does it shoot lemons? It doesn't. No. Yeah, it's yeah, there it is. It's got the little marker on it, so I can keep track of my health. I'm at full health right now.
Oh, good.
Yep. So,
as a fan of Konami, as a fan of Treasure, who freaking the team created Contra, you're gonna make I mean, why? I don't understand. Konami was like, Gradius 5, God, who do we get that's badass at making Japanese games? Oh wait, Treasure. They used to be with us.
Yeah, our homeboys.
Why don't we just say Treasure?
Which was
new Contra game. You make it.
It was quite a statement too. I mean, there hadn't been a lot of conversation about the Treasure and Konami kind of.
Well, and that's what. Yeah, the J.K. Spencer doesn't even know that. Yeah, for those of you who don't know.
Yes. Yeah.
Treasure.
Yep.
Was born.
Yep.
Was born
Alien Wars.
From Konami.
You like Alien Wars?
Yeah.
That was one of the first times that core Treasure team had actually worked together. Was on Alien Wars, and there are so many Konami and Ultra titles.
Yes.
That that they didn't even get accredited on. I mean, because it was obviously that time where people were Tamaguchi and Bobo in the credits. Like, sorry everybody, there's no Bobo in Japan. There might be a Bobo.
Right.
And he's but yeah, no, it's especially after Way Forward with Contra. Way Forward did such a good job,
and it was, they did do a good
and
job.
it was received well, both critically and by fans, which is a huge deal, you know. And then to take Mercury Steam, which is just totally butchered Castlevania. I did not want God of War. I didn't need that in my Castlevania.
And that's what I'm fearing. This new Contra is going to be this westernized, colorless, bland.
Super Castlevania 4. You should go play Castlevania Rebirth on the WiiWare.
Yes.
It is fantastic.
Castlevania Rebirth, any of the Rebirth games, but Castlevania especially, M2.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
M2.
Well, we're not talking
about that. But you could even Konami could hire M2. That's why, I see.
Do I have anything Konami?
There are so many opportunities of other companies Konami could have hired, and so that's when I look at Kojima Productions as like the last bastion of reason and logic, because I see
there's no regional logic at Kojima Productions.
Well, reason as in with the story. I mean, like quality control. Because when I see,
I agree,
when Kojima
JK.
Productions says we can't do it, they're like, who do you hire? Oh wait, Platinum Games. I'm like, whoa, duh. But if there was no Kojima Productions and Konami just held Metal Gear, they'd be like, well, Mercury Steam, what do you think about a Metal Gear? What do you think about that?
Cookie Army. One interesting thing I was reading in an interview with Igarashi, the great Koji Igarashi. He was talking in a Dawn of Sorrows interview about where he wants to go with the series. Now, granted, of course, this is dated at this point.
Right.
But the number one thing that he wanted to redo was a remake of Castlevania 3. And there's your Super Castlevania 4 right there. I mean, Castlevania 3 is the Cadillac of Castlevania games. It is. It's fantastic, especially if you get a chance to play the Famicom version, which actually had an entirely different sound chip in it. You were talking like TurboGrafx 16, maybe on a bad day, Super Nintendo quality audio in an NES game.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. And you're talking about the squeedlies of Castlevania, and you're killing guys, and you're throwing shit, and it's just good times. Oh my god, Castlevania 3 is so good. And you've got the great combinations of playing as all the different characters.
Right, being able to switch between
Trevor and Grant.
That's where the idea of the idea of being able to switch between the different abilities. It wasn't Metroidvania in that way, but it kind of iterations of that idea were built upon later on.
Well, and it was awesome because you really had these choices, and it was better when you knew like what your choices were.
Right.
You would get to the end of a stage. For those who haven't played, you get to the end of a stage, and think of this like classic Castlevania, stage-based. And you would stop, and you'd have two paths you can go on, and you would get kind of like an idea. You'd see like gears, so you knew you were going into Clock Tower Hell, or like a forest. You knew you were going to have like crows and dick spiders coming down on you. But the thing was, Dick Spiders. Dick Spiders. That is actually what they're called.
Really, the technical term is Dick Spiders. Why are they called Dick Spiders?
Dick Spiders because they are dicks.
They are dicks.
Okay. But
now I know.
Actually, it's funny you say that, Spencer, because I saw they specifically referenced Castlevania 3 when they were talking about the game. They said, "Now, this isn't a Metroidvania like you think. Like this is more like Castlevania." Dick Spiders, yeah. But so it is sort of like Castlevania 3 in a sense. But you had to make these decisions in Castlevania 3 because some of those characters you literally couldn't get if you didn't make the right choice. If you didn't head up this certain path, you didn't get Grant, who could like climb on walls.
Grant was the most awesome one.
He was such you climb up. Yeah, you were just on the wall and you were done. You could be. You actually got Alucard in that game. That is the start of the Symphony of the Night story. You have the Alucard, and he could turn into a bat. which was awesome. It like sucked your hearts like you wouldn't believe, but you could do it.
Yeah.
So it was awesome. But yeah, it's like that is what he wants to do, and like between that and actually doing the 1999 Julius kills Dracula plotline, like those are his two next big projects he wants to do. Assuming he's still alive.
How old is he?
Well, I'm not saying he's old. I'm saying that Konami has seriously like pushed him under the table.
Well, that's what they've done with a lot of their. I mean, Konami's had a lot of great people on there over the years that they've kind of just let fall by the wayside.
You know, JK, I agree. It is like a weird thing to have the story that they're doing in this new game, but I don't ever seem to remember caring a whole lot about the story when I was younger. And like, if this is going to be one of those games that's supposed to bring me back to like this classic Castlevania feel, I don't care. I could fight Jack the Ripper and it would be perfectly fine. Like, you're already fighting like the idea that like Dracula just called everybody up, was like, hey Frankenstein, I've got like this area, could you just like hang out there?
Just chill there and like protect this.
Yeah, Medusa, like you could be here. And then you imagine like the committee to decide who got to be like what stage boss. Like
it was probably like drawing like straws. Or,
Medusa is like, seriously, the mummy gets to be after me, and then Dracula's like, well, how about two mummies? And then all of a sudden it was cool. Like that was
well, two mummies. I understand. I am just Medusa. Oh yeah, Yu Suzuki.
Yep. It's okay. We'll lash you later.
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay. But it's. I'd like to see Mercury Steam stream. What is Mercury Stream? Is it Mercury Stream?
Mercury Stream. Yeah, Mercury Stream. Yeah.
I would like to see. I'd like to see them really do what they're saying they're gonna do with this. But
I just don't. And that's why. Here's my other thing too.
Steam, thank you.
Let's just say
all in caps.
Let's just say
like Steam. It's Mercury Steam. You sound stupid when you say it like that.
Like he's saying like it's the Daft Punk song.
Yeah.
Steam. No, see, and that's why. Let's just say they do develop a good Castlevania 3DS game. Let's say they do. But then I would say, but what could Treasure have done? What could M2 have done? Like, here's your bar that they could set, all right, and just blow us all in the water. I'm still saying you could have had a much better game, 10 times better game by those other developers.
Yeah, well, or how about like Steam, Mercury Steam, with Iga? Like, why can't he be there? Like, why don't you do what they did with Inafune, where Inafune is there making sure that Blue Horse or Blue House, whatever the guys who did Blue Castle,
yeah.
Don't screw everything up on Dead Rising 2, and it was very competent, and you can't measure what Inafune did and didn't do. I mean, he might not have had to do anything, but the fact of the matter is that we as gamers, like the serious hardcore gamers, we take comfort in knowing that these people who have never done us wrong in the
right, yeah, exactly. I mean, they have a quality, they have a reputation.
Why is it I immediately think Mercury Steam? I think an enema.
Yeah, that's like the worst.
That's what you think. And tell me you're not thinking
that's like if you went and got an enema, and the first time it didn't work, they're like, well, we had this nether form, and it's called Mercury Steam.
The Mercury Steam.
Yep. It'll work, but
it's only been used in Belgium, some parts of Slovakia.
Yeah, you'll be pooing what looks like silver bullets for the next week. But it'll work. It'll fix everything.
Absolutely. Well, they'll fly a guy in with like a twirly mustache and a bowler hat, and he's just like sweating and got the little glasses.
See, let me get this off. Yeah.
Yes. He's turned into like Gene Shalit.
Putting on the Ritz or something. Like, hello, my baby. As he does.
This is quite a problem you have here.
In you go. In you go. In you go. Whoops-a-daisy.
He's like snapping his suspenders.
This is a real humdinger here. Yeah. So yes, we've raged upon the terribleness of
and this is a thing too. I mean, this really ties back to what we were talking about when we're saying, that we feel such entitlement,
Right.
And this is entitlement on the next level. This is you've bought all of their games, and you feel like you have a stock. Like I have purchased stock in the Castlevania.
Right. If I bought so many games, and that's kind of how I felt with, I go back to Platinum Games. I bought Bayonetta, I bought Mad World, I bought Vanquish, besides Infinite Space. Because that's Nude Maker. That is Nude Maker. Like, I look at that game and that's God. I mean, it's cool for what it is. Not my kind of game. But anyway, I still love Platinum. But regarding that, and Treasure, okay, I love Treasure. But I will fully admit the Stretch Panic.
Stretch Panic. Who doesn't want to snap a bunch of boobs?
It's not a bunch of big old titties, you know, but not their finest moment. But see, that's where I find my greatest respect for a company when I can still, even when they have their bad times and their bad issues, that makes me enjoy what I play all the much more because I'm not trying to make up BS to just pretend I like it, you know?
Yeah, I think a Konami versus Capcom would be pretty cool.
I have that patch.
I don't even
for
know what we're
Namco
talking
X
about,
Capcom.
Spencer. But yeah, Namco X Capcom is a lot of fun.
I need
the
to
English
go through that.
patch is out, and you can actually play it.
I've got the English patch downloaded. I even have the imported game, so I can legally play it and do all that.
Yep.
Because the same people who did Super Robot Tyson OG and La Saga,
Yep.
and I want to get
and
Dragon Ball Z Attack of
the same people
Saiyans.
who are doing Project whatever, the 3DS game. You know, the one where it's like the Capcom guys and it's the Xenogears Namco guys, and it's like a whole bunch of groups all getting together. God, help me out, chat. Project something for the 3DS. But yeah, it's the same team who did that, and it's actually the same kind of game.
Not Project P100.
No, it's Project. Oh, you're gonna make me look it up. Not Guildo 1. Guildo 1 is like Suda and a comedian and some weird
Project
stuff.
X Zone.
Project X Zone. That is what it is. Project
Wow.
X Zone on the 3DS.
Project X Zone. That's like the most nondescript title. Like,
Yeah.
Project X Zone.
Operation Stuff.
Stuff and things. I love stuff and things. You
Stuff
kidding
and
me?
things.
It's
Stuff
like,
and things also sounds like something you would
It's
do
like
with an anime.
it's like I remember when they announced Popeye's Hush Rush for spinach.
Mm-hmm.
What's a Hush Rush? Shh, we're rushing. I just remember Hush Rush. That would be like I would just tell people that. I'd be like, yeah, Hush Rush.
If we want to talk about, I'm gonna detour for a second about games I'm super excited about. iPad, iPhone, Spy vs. Spy remake. Is anybody out there with me? Full Spy vs. Spy remake for the iPhone, iPad, with full multiplayer connectivity. Did you ever play Spy vs. Spy?
No.
On NES?
No.
It was a split screen competitive game.
I think I've seen it.
And the objective of it was you had to collect these like three things. You had to get like money and like a passport and like a briefcase or something. Yeah, he's like, what?
I was sitting
You haven't seen Spy vs. Spy?
I would sit in the pocket.
You haven't seen Spy? Oh, here it comes. Let me talk about Spy vs. Spy.
Spy vs. Spy.
No, this is
you
this.
can't put your Mega Man
It is.
hat on
It is
talking about Spy vs.
Capcom soapbox / Spy vs. Spy soapbox.
Okay.
But no, it is really really fun, and you actually have to like put together booby traps, and you have to you'll booby trap a door, and so when the people come in, they'll get rocked, or like you'll have like a painting, so people are looking for these items, but you have laid traps for them ahead of time. So it's a race then to get through it while second guessing where you want to go and what you want to do. So by having this new game, like you won't, first of all, there'll be no screen looking, which will be good.
Right.
Because before it was split screen, you were just like, oh no, I'm not going in that room. Like, it's pretty obvious.
Right.
But now you're going to be able to lay all these booby traps and everything. And I'm not even kidding, it was like a week earlier, and this is just a testament to the stupid conversations I have. And I'm like, Brandon, you know what they need to remake? They need to remake Spy vs. Spy. And Cracked was like, yes, it is time. So it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, really, really great. Find stuff. Yeah, set traps. Stay one step ahead. It was awesome, and it was more awesome on that proof of concept level than it was
Right.
really like the execution. Especially now, like we would just rock it, but like 8-year-old Shawn like hopped up on gummy bears and stuff. Like, no, yeah, it was like the deepest game ever created. So yeah,
I will believe you, Shawn.
it's gonna rock. It's gonna rock.
I am waiting with bated breath for
No.
Spy vs. Spy.
I don't think
Is
so.
it coming out for Android?
Nope.
Well, see, I can't
Nope.
be excited. Darn it.
Nope.
You know what? I could have played it. I could have played it.
Because if they're listening to me, they know that you don't care. All
And
right.
they don't want to put it out for
Yep.
Android. Why don't you put it out for Android, man? What's up with that? Why
Okay, the hat's
no
off.
love for the Android?
The
You gotta
hat's
put it out for the Android.
Yeah.
Why can't you? Why no love for the Android?
I know, right? North and South. Were you on the cast when we were playing North and South? Like, that game is the shit. North and South, Spy vs. Spy need to come back out. I'll do it. Let's put together a group. We'll all Kickstarter it. We're gonna
you all just enjoy your North and South, and I.
You don't like North? Did you not like North and South? Oh my god.
No. I don't.
Does the hat need to get back on? Because that game is brilliant.
Do I not like North versus South? No. I don't hate North versus South. Would I choose to play it in a sea of other games?
Yes.
No.
It's the best Bayonetta they ever made.
That's what I was saying. It's the Nolan North.
It's the Nolan North of Bayonettas.
By the way, for people, do they know about this?
It's
This is a stupid conversation we were having on our arcade trip,
yep.
where for some reason we were discussing Nolan
Voice
North
actors.
and Steve Blum. And at some point, for some reason, Shawn thought it would be, he took the time to completely diss Steve Blum.
I didn't diss him. I just said
Diss.
Nolan North is the shit.
Diss Steve.
And-
no,
We coined a term. We coined the term
he
the
said-
Nolan North of things.
Right, because it's the best.
it's
of
the
things.
best. It's the best.
He was saying like Nolan North is the best voice actor. Like, no, Steve
No,
Blum. Steve
I just
Blum
said
is
he's
bomb
the
diggity.
shit. He's like he is seriously. He's the dawn of voice acting.
He is not the Don of voice acting. There's so many voice like Cam Clark. Completely pimps
The
out
weird
Nolan
noise
North.
guy from Police Academy.
No, Cam Clark. Cam Clark wins. Sorry, Cam Clark beats you. He's Leonardo and freaking Liquid Snake. Winner. Sorry, you lose. I'm sorry.
Well, he's all right. He might be close to the Nolan North of voice acting.
How can someone else be the Nolan North of voice
Well,
acting?
we're not talking. We're talking
But
about.
we're talking about other things. So yes, that's what every time now something's the best. He's like,
It's the Nolan
this
North of
ice
best.
cream sandwich is the Nolan North of ice cream sandwiches.
Kirby
It is the
Superstar
best.
is the Nolan North of Kirby games.
Kirby Superstar is the best.
The
Kirby game?
It's the Nolan North. Of
It's
Kirby.
the Nolan North. Your favorite Kirby game?
Yeah. Yep.
The DS version or the Super Nintendo version?
Well, I mean, I guess the Super Nintendo version because you don't have to have another DS and you know all the other stuff. But
Or the DS one's graphically updated.
well,
right,
it is,
right?
and they added some extra stuff like making the game marginally difficult.
Right.
It was the Nolan North of times. It was, the Cam Clark of times.
There's Rob Paulson, yes.
Yep.
Raphael.
Yep. Robert
guy.
Paulson, also the name of that one guy from Fight Club. His name was Robert Paulson. You don't know. God, where are you?
I watched
not-
Fight Club. I
you know,
like
we
Fight
feel
Club, but I
like
don't know their names.
we're back and
I don't
forth,
know
we're back
their
and forth,
names.
and you
I
just-
don't know their
you just-
names. I was like, yeah, Fight Club. That's a cool movie. I like that movie. I didn't
He was
memorize.
he was
their
Meatloaf.
names. Oh, he was the titties guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lamb
I didn't-
O'Brien.
I didn't know. I'm sorry. I don't know. I didn't know
Jeez.
their names. I don't memorize it.
It's
oh,
Mercury Steam, Brian.
that's Rob Paulson. He's in Fight Club, but the character is also in. No, I
Is
don't
that
do
what
that.
I sound like?
That's what you sound. When you talk about Rob Paulson, that's what you sound like. You're like, oh, Rob Paulson was he was
that
in
what I
that
sound like?
movie, but actually before then it was like a prequel to it, which people didn't know because it was weird like that. So that's what you sound like. Hey, what are you doing? Get your lip up there. You're sad. Well,
Let's move on to the next topic.
Next topic.
Gamer entitlement.
gamer.
That was
we
what that
talked
was.
about gamer.
We
Entitlement.
did.
Yes. Are there any other topics you guys have on your mind that you want to talk about?
Reach deep into your noodle and pull out a topic. So something deep in there.
You just ask people to reach deep down.
In their noodle, the
in their
brain. I
noodle.
pointed at the brain.
You want people to.
They can
reach-
see that.
To reach deep into their
Deep
noodle.
into it.
Deep. You want them to fist their noodle.
I want you. Those people are at Magic Mike.
They're at Magic. Yeah. Which, by the way, actually, I had to tell
the
this.
noodle dance.
No, this is funny. I was at work, and the gals, all the girls were going to see Magic Mike, right? They're going to see, we'll watch a movie, and I was like, fine. You want to see Magic Mike? That's your opinion. But I made the analogy that the way they were talking about Magic Mike, and they were rationalizing it. They were like, well, I'm going to see Magic Mike, and everyone's like, yeah, it's cool, it's cool. Because it's going to be a good movie. I don't doubt it is. Because I'm a woman, I can see it. Like, yeah, I understand.
Will there be a Magic Mike game for the Wii U?
Oh God, I can only hope. So my thought was they kept rationalizing it, and when they did that, I was like, it's like rationalizing going to get gas for your car. Like, I'm going to get gas for my car. Okay, because it needs gas. I know. And I've got a car. Okay, yeah, I don't doubt it. So my thought is like, if you rationalize it, if there's nothing wrong with it, why do you have to rationalize it? Just go see it. Go see a movie about dongs and have a grand old time with everybody. Dong the Movie was the original title. Dong, the movie.
I can already see it. They're gonna have it at the drive-in. They're gonna have like Theater C, and it's like Ted and Magic Mike.
Oh God.
Just back to back.
Oh, that's another terrible movie. Ted. Ted. It's like the whole Teddy. It's that whole naughty bear. Oh, it's a cute thing, but it's really not cute.
Well-
He's really rambunctious. Oh, you cute thing. You actually say naughty things. Bad you.
They did a research into the demographic, and they decided that frat boys and Conquer needed to get put together.
Really?
So that
And
yeah,
that's what they made
And
that.
they were brilliant. That
They're
it's
like,
printing
we have
money.
enough of these idiots who are going to watch this movie.
Don Cole the movie.
Don Cole in the movie. Yes.
Don Corleone.
Don Corleone.
Don
movie.
Corleone.
Yes, I would see that movie. Yeah. And the fact that Ted, the teddy bear, is just Peter from Family Guy.
JK, he's got an interesting thing he's discussing.
You can't possibly always be up for games every time. What do you do to get yourself out of that creative block?
I try and descend into a land of non sequitur.
What is he asking?
He's basically saying, like, how do we keep at it? How do we keep going? How do we keep keeping ourselves interested in all these things? So what happens when we hit that wall where it's just like,
oh, we don't care about games anymore, or
well, and this is an interesting conversation. This is something that we're really trying to transition. We're definitely trying to transition with the site, and we want to be somewhere. We're not going to try and compete, obviously. We're not. I don't want to be the guy who's going to tell you that Kojima had a booger hanging out of his nose at the latest conference.
Oh, I will, yeah. Certainly.
And there'll be like 4 posts about it.
Right.
But it becomes this wall where, like, I'm looking at news and I'm talking to the people, the cool insiders and stuff, and I wonder, what of this does anybody care about? Like, what of this is news?
Right.
Like, what of this, and do I even care about? And it just becomes this sort of thing where, you just need to.
That's where
step away.
That's where, and this is where these conversations stem from. Is and this kind of goes a little back onto our site. The other day, and this is part of what we're going to be doing, and I've got some interviews lined up. I can actually tell you that I am lining up an interview with someone at Kojima Productions to do an interview with him. Mm-hmm. But the reason I say that is because also, besides that, I had a conversation with a guy at GameStop, a GameStop worker, and I really wish I would have had my audio recorder there and just recorded this stuff, because we were having this awesome conversation about video games and culture, and that is what we want to focus on, is us and our thoughts and our opinions on all this, and our passions and where we come from about this, because the news is great, but the problem about the news is it's here today, gone tomorrow. There's nothing long lasting about it, and for us, we want the site and what we do to be a repository for all this information and experiences. It's experiences. That's what everything we talked about tonight is our experiences, and that's what we want it to do.
Yeah, if you can actually believe it, this is really how we talk. When him and I get together, we meet for lunch to discuss the site, and we call each other in the middle of the nights when we're lonely. We hear sound outside.
Need some pillow talk.
Yep, and I'm serious. Like this, this is us. This isn't a persona or a character or anything. And I mean, you guys have seen a lot of my collection. It's not like a museum. I mean, this is all stuff I'm actively playing.
Right.
We're just getting together before this, and I'm showing him all sorts of weird stuff. Not to bash on you or anything, but I was showing him the Addams Family game on NES, and I was like, yeah, this is kind of like Jet Set Willy, and he's like,
I'd never heard of Jet Set Willy. It's a Commodore 64. But that's the perfect example of sharing those experiences. And we all have things that we particularly love in culture that maybe someone's not experienced, and it's
like North and South.
Like North and South, exactly. But here's, I don't find North and South to be a bad game, though.
It's amazing.
But here's the thing. I'm saying I would be a better person for knowing about it. I have the experience.
JK, are you the Anime Haven guy? That is awesome. Yeah, right on. Yeah, no, that is definitely a name that sticks with me. That's nice. Very, very cool. You know what you do? You just do it. It's
well, that's what we've had to do.
And you don't need 1,000 people or 100 people. Right. I really could. Yes, absolutely. I distinctly remember the Anime Haven name. Absolutely. And that's the thing. Like, all of these small things, like especially with the birth of the internet. Okay.
Right.
How many of us were like looking into anime or looking into games or something, and we're hearing about it from just some guy, some guy who like poured his heart into it. He's got like a Angel Fire GeoCities website.
Yeah.
And this has become the knowledge we know. This is the experiences we have. Yep. But it's that's why we do it, and we really could care less about getting out there. You're breaking out or selling out, as you may call it.
Yeah. No, we've
and that's not to say that we haven't had opportunities, very distinct opportunities to take this. I wouldn't say to another level, but a different level,
right?
Than what we have. Exactly, and I'm telling you, man, that how many things that I might have saw from Anime Haven that I don't directly attribute it anymore, but that might be what I know.
Well, I mean, right, and that's where it's it's not about being an aggregator of news, and something that I've learned, JK, that I could give you advice on as far as what you're doing. It's really about just honest content to people. That's what people want. It's, you know, when I started with Substance TV, the show, just doing the show, I was so obsessed with quality because I had such a passion for it. I wanted to do the best of the best, you know, and I never wanted to put anything out that wasn't good enough, and I was always criticizing myself, and I was always looking back and editing and all this stuff. And as I've gone through the years, doing stuff like this, Substance TV Live, as far as production goes, this isn't some amazing multi-million-dollar
No,
kind of
it's
thing,
not.
but it's actually one of the more enjoyable things that I get to do every week because it's interacting with you, and it's the ability to put out content that people can enjoy and just disseminate and enjoy it themselves, because people right now with what we have with YouTube aren't obsessed with this. It's got to look like a branded TV show. Or
it's a
anything
shaky
like that.
cam kind of thing, and
Right,
it's not rehearsed. JK, if I could give you the best advice to get yourself going, it's find somebody that has even remotely close to the same amount of passion.
Yeah.
I mean, everything that has happened from Substance TV is because of Brian and I just firing off, you know.
Exactly.
I mean, and we call each other, and we're hitting each other up, and we're getting together. We're getting together with, you know, we're talking with Landon, and we're talking with Brandon, and it's, we see each other, and we just get excited. I mean, this isn't artificial. I am genuinely excited about these things, and the best part about it is I don't have to pretend, you know, because I'm with like company.
See,
you know?
I couldn't.
You guys are tuning in because you want to hear me talk about stupid stuff, or you want to hear Brian talk about whatever he cares about, and it's the fact that he's passionate about it that gets through, you know. And
I couldn't agree more with Shawn. I mean, he is. If I've ever seen a time where Substance TV's been a lull, the first time is when we redid the show and Eric came on, and then
Eric.
and then when the site was, you know, was having issues with the site, you know, and then originally Landon came on with Boomsies, and then when we redid the site and we brought on both Shawn and Brandon, and then, you know, Shawn and I have these conversations. That is what helps inspire me. That's what, like, literally, I'll see him do an article about something, and maybe that day I didn't have an article planned or I didn't have it, but I'll want to do something because it's just kinetic. It sparks. It's that, you know, it just bounces back and forth, and you feel inspired, and they'll talk about something, and it'll get something going in your head. And the fact of the matter is, you feel like there's somebody else in this with you, and that's why we do this. Because
JK, you know what? At the end of the day, and take it from what inspires us. You know, you're gonna have at least one person, at least two people that are gonna be watching that care. I guarantee you that I'm gonna hit you up right afterwards. And that's the thing, is it's your audience. It's not the quantity. It is the quality. It really is. And I can't thank for all of you guys, you know, who have gone out and done something in the past that in your specialty, or something that you've cared about, and put yourself out there into the horrible critics of the internet. You know, I thank you. I mean, it's the GameFAQs FAQ back in 2003 that got me through Euphoria on Famicom. You know, it's the guys who were explaining to me how to hook my 32X up with my S-video cables on my modern television.
And those are the things you
those
remember.
are the people.
Those are experiences, though.
Those are the people, and I can't be like, oh, thanks, Crimson Lover of Death 83X.
I love him. He's a good guy.
He was a great guy. But you know what, though? It's that we together have built a culture. And that is literally the creed of Substance TV. I mean, that is our creed. And that is why there could be 100 of you, there could be 10 of you. We're going to be here, and we're going to be doing our thing, and we're doing it for us. And it's just gravy that you guys are coming along for the ride.
Exactly. And that's why, and there's our email addresses. You want to send us some email address, you want to send us, you know, you have a question or you need our support on something. I mean, that's, you know, as I couldn't agree more, Shawn. And that's part of the reason I'm really glad to have Shawn on, because he, you know, we disagree about stuff, and we have. Okay?
Yeah. Oh my God. We seriously
about stuff all the time, and that's the other thing too that I have also found, is that I always thought I had to be around like-minded people to enjoy myself. You know, Eric and I are very like-minded. We're as far as gaming goes, besides Godhand,
we thank you, Algebraic. We thank all of you.
Besides Godhand, we're probably very like-minded in our gaming. But as I got to know people like Shawn, they trigger different parts of my culture. I'll just say they different switches that maybe I don't think North and South is the best game ever, but maybe now I know about a new developer, I know about a new artist, I knew a new composer. All that does is add to my culture and our experiences, and that's why you guys, you know, you guys bring in, and Landon and I, we disagree on a lot of stuff. There's no doubt about it. But in that disagreement, in that culture, because without us, there is no culture. Without what we do here, that's why I look at other websites that are news aggregators. And when you look back, like you said, 10 years from now, and you think about what do you remember about your culture now, you're not going to think about that news story you read. You're not going to think about, oh gosh, I read this news story. Now, we'll do news, okay? We'll do cool stuff. But it's not going to be just news that's pertinent because, well, it came out on a press release. It's going to be something that, we just did an article on the Virtual Boy arcade that sold for $2,500. It's such a weird out there thing. One of Shawn's new initiatives is
the Hump Day
cartoons, which I really love because that's culture. That's not news. There's nothing newsworthy about it, but it's just sharing culture in an interesting way to just throw it back to people.
Exactly. Yeah. To go back to JK again, I mean, I know that you're having this hump with trying to reinvigorate Anime Haven. I'm telling you that there is no better time to get back to get the anime bug again. I mean, the anime industry has been in such a lull, but when you're talking about now, like I just had an awesome. I went to an awesome panel with Helen McCarthy, who I don't know if you know, but she is like the most knowledgeable person about anime ever. I mean, it's disgusting how much she knows. And she actually has written a book on Tezuka, who is like the grandfather of anime. And I mean, this is a great boom. Yeah, tell me, 80s and 90s anime, man. You give me Bubblegum Crisis or Armitage or I mean
Cowboy Bebop.
I
can't tell you the way Cowboy Bebop changed my anime life.
I know, and but we are getting to the point now where we are getting what I wouldn't call the safe anime. The safe with these last like 2 or 3 years, we've had season after season of safe anime. It's this moe like really pandering stuff, and you've got like some of that rogue thing coming
and the
out.
Animation too. You look at just the animation, and once they went to digital, they got lazy.
Oh, absolutely.
They got really lazy. And you look at look at an old film like Wings of Onigami, which, dear God, the way that's animated. Or even my kids, I got them both The Secret World of Arrietty and City in the Sky, Miyazaki.
Castle in the Sky?
Castle in the Sky, yeah, Castle in the Sky. We just watched that, and I look at a film like that. That's from the mid-80s.
Fist of the North Star, man.
Fist of the North Star.
My love for Kenshiro, and you'll see great references to that. Like One Piece, all of Luffy's moves in One Piece, he literally has referenced to Fist of the North Star.
Right.
Like it's self-aware. But
no anime that I've seen lately is ever going to have that kind of long lastability. I'm not going to see anybody that's going to be coming back.
I would say for Gurren Lagann. I would say Gurren Lagann out of the anime of the semi-recent.
I actually haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann was a pretty good show. The first season was really good. But we're seeing like the new Lupin series, which I referenced. Yeah. You're seeing like honest to God hand drawn anime in that. Like,
right, which that's what I miss so much. There's a certain that's where a movie like Redline is the marriage of digital, what digital high def can do, but with the mentality and the care of a hand drawn anime.
Redline was like
doing it.
Great anime mixed with like liquid television.
Oh God, television.
It was like seriously, it was. It was like, all right, Aeon Flux guys, we want you to do F-Zero. And that was what we got. It was so good. It was so good. The new Berserk, both movies are really good. We got a chance to see the first one screened at A-Kon, which I want to apologize to everybody right out the door. We had some really great A-Kon footage put together. We had a lot of really great reports from A-Kon, and due to some very unfortunate technical problems and I don't know what you would call it, like personal problems, it didn't end up coming to fruition. But
But
needless
that's on
to say,
a point too. You're saying, about stuff like A-Kon coverage. When we report news, part of our goal is reporting news that you're not really going to hear elsewhere, or you might hear about it elsewhere, but not in the same way. We really want to give that kind of detailed coverage, and that's why, I'm investing money. Shawn's investing money. I know at least at least one other person investing money. We're going to PAX this year.
We will be at PAX,
and our PAX Prime are going to be providing coverage that you guys, and that's why for us it's not about getting big or hitting it big. If I looked at all the money that I've ever spent in the 6 years I've done this, if I went back and put like a pen to paper and said how much money and time I put in this, there's no way I will ever make that money up. But that's not what this is about.
It was about the experience.
It was about the experience, and that's why when we come to this culture we've done, and now we've switched the side over to talking about our culture. That's why another thing too. When I was talking about
SPAC, they are out of stock, and
I know that's the one thing I'm looking for.
You're getting on Craigslist, and there's a guy out there who thinks he types it like he's doing you a favor. He's like, look, I still have 2 passes left, 3 days, and all it's going to cost you is $275 a piece. That's it, $275.
That's it.
And then your hotel room, and then your flight, and food and everything. But that's all it's going to cost you to go to PAX. And I'm really doing you the courtesy.
And that's why, JK, perfect example. Shawn was the one who inspired me to go to PAX. Even before Shawn was a part of the site, when we were originally started talking, we were just friends. I knew him, and we started talking. He told me about all the stuff he saw at PAX, and he's like, and I never heard about this stuff. And that wasn't for want of not finding information, because I had tons of information about PAX from all the major websites, and he tells me about this stuff, and I'm going, I've never heard of any of this. And he's like, yeah, literally, I just went up to people and talked to them, and they were dying.
They're always obsessed about the panels, and you know what? That's not, we're obsessed with the relationships.
Yeah.
Like, an example, the Dragon Quest Monsters 2, okay? So I go to this Nintendo area, and they have this huge lounge, and they got Kirby there, which is cool, and they're giving cotton candy out, and you see the journalists over there, and they're talking with the super crazy big guy, and he's so presentable, and he's so, like, iconic, and how do you feel about Kirby? And he's just gonna feed you the stock lines,
Right.
And then I'm over there at the Dragon Quest Monsters 2, and it's got this like nook. Like I wouldn't even nook. That's a good word.
That's a nice word.
It's like a
crack.
Like a crack. And I go over there, and I was like, I'm a huge Dragon Quest fan. I was like, I've got like 300 hours in 9, which I do. It's disgusting how much I played of 9, and I was really excited, but I was just being genuine,
Right.
Turns out it's the freaking producer of the game. And she's just there, and she's like, I love this. She's like, I love talking to you guys about this. And all of a sudden, we've got a camera in our face, and she's actually recording us for the commercial, for one of the commercials they were doing. And it's just like, all of a sudden now, I'm directly discussing this stuff with her. Or the Rusty Hearts team, which Rusty Hearts is a great MMO.
Yeah.
And seriously, you can go to their site. I don't know if it's still there, but I'm in the commercial for the site, just discussing, just telling them about how I feel about Rusty Hearts.
See, that's what we're sharing, it's sharing those experiences and sharing those passions.
The seller's room doesn't really exist at PAX. You have Pink Gorilla, which is awesome. Pink Gorilla is a really great, like, rarities and import site. And they do, they distribute all sorts of cool games. They're there. You've got Fangamer, which Fangamer is I wish I would have came up with Fangamer. I'm sorry, I love Substance TV, but I would like, if Fangamer called up and they're like, Shawn, quick, we need you right now. And like the helicopter ladder comes down, and I would just jump right on it, and I'd be gone.
Up, and there'd be like the line, like, come on down the megaphone.
They'd have like the Bionic Commando song going like,
right, and you'd be like lifting off as mechs were shooting you.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, that would seriously. And so you got those guys, but it's really not about that. Like, they're not worried about selling crap to you. It's just jam packed with anybody and everyone they can fit in there. And the indie game guys, I mean, they'll get together and they'll buy a booth, and there might be like 10 indie games in this like booth.
Right.
Like you don't know what you're playing anymore, but you'll see some awesome stuff. Like I'm sure you guys have heard about Spy Party. Spy Party is a really awesome. It's like Spy vs. Spy.
Really?
Yeah, it is. Let me detour for a second to talk about Spy Party, because it's super great, and it's going to be one of the best games, indie titles to come out either this year or next. It's an indie title. You never know what's going to come out. The concept of the game is that it's a 2-player game, and you are an assassin, okay? And you have 1 bullet, and you are out on this other building, and you are sniping, okay? So you just have the scope, and inside is a dinner party. And one of the other human player is one of the random people in this dinner party. And what you have to do is you need to accomplish a set of tasks, like break into a safe and steal some information, but you need to do it without being noticed. Like, you need to do it without drawing specific attention to yourself. And so the way it'll work is, like, you say you convince somebody to do a toast. And so now everybody's toasting, and their hands are up, and they're obscuring the vision of the sniper. And so that gives you a chance to maybe pickpocket somebody, to steal some information. without drawing attention.
Right.
And the amazing thing about this game, because I know what you're probably thinking immediately, it's like there's finite amount of these things and the tells would be obvious, except for the fact that since the game was in production, like super alpha, it has been at all the conventions. And what the creators do is they just watch. They will put together like 6 games and they record every game that's played and they just watch. And they watch all the mannerisms and they watch everything that everyone does, and they have just been fine-tuning this game over and over. It's called Spy Party. It's for the PC right now, and it is actually going to be at EVO this year. It is going to be one of the big games they're going to show at EVO, because they really feel like this is going to appeal to the fighting game crowd. I mean, and it sort of is, because you have like these tells, and you're gonna be noticing frames, and you're gonna be noticing facial expressions and cues, and it's really gonna be amazing, you know.
Wow.
And so back to the story. So you have this this table, and there's the Spy Party guy there, and it's cool. And then there's this like TV with like an Xbox controller on it. And we're like waiting in line, and my philosophy is, because people are so holier than thou at these conferences, you got guys in line for like 8 hours for Uncharted 3, like it's not gonna play the way you think it's going to.
Right.
And then you see these guys, like the Shank guys are there. Nobody's there. Nobody's coming to say hi. I already own their game. I don't need to know what Shank looks like, but I go over and I tell them, I'm like, you know guys, you kick ass. And Shank was a great game, and I just want to let you know that you kick ass, you know? So I go and I play everything. If there's a seat open, I want to play it. Because these are the kind of games that no one is going to know about. Like, how many people are going to know about Spy Party? Unless it's like, when the game comes out, it'll be like 8 freaking, posts on Kotaku or something. But, so there's this TV, and there's this controller. And I asked the Spy Party guy, I was like, so what is this? And he's like, oh, it's just a friend of mine's game. And so nobody's there, and I sit down and I play it. And it's this island, and there's really nothing really going on, but you're trying to escape. You just get this feeling you're trying to escape.
Right.
And you're breaking through all these locks, and you're doing all these puzzles, but nothing is vocalized. Like, you just take from what you know, maybe sort of meta from other video games, but you take what you know and you do it. And I was like, oh, cool. And so I play the game, and I'm sort of showing it off to a friend, and this guy comes over who I didn't really notice, but he's like asking me about the game. He's like, oh, how do you feel about the game? What's going on? And I was like, oh, yeah, okay. And I'm sort of telling him, like, I don't really feel like this works, or this seems kind of dumb. And I leave. I come home, I go back to the hotel room, and I hear Jonathan Blow, the creator of Braid, has been secretly displaying his game at PAX, and nobody knew about it. And what it turned out was that game. That was Jonathan Blow's new game, and the way that he wanted to advertise it is he didn't want to be like, I am Jonathan Blow, the creator of Braider. And so he was there in sort of a disguise, and he had his game set up with no advertising, and he just wanted to know how true gamers felt, and he didn't want them to feel rushed.
Right.
He didn't want, this guy from this website to get on there and be like, and he's got his notebook, and he's...
See, that's what, if I can interrupt real
done.
quick, that's the problem I have with games journalism, and in that sense, people are only there to play the game. They're only there to be at the conference to get a blurb.
Yep.
The reason we're gonna be at PAX is not to get a blurb.
Nope.
We're not there to get a news story. We're not there to cover one game and get 5 freaking stories out of it that are a paragraph each.
Yep. Fill a quota.
We're there to get these experiences, and that's why it goes back to not only what we're doing, but also to JK. I'm telling you, man.
Yes, no, Chris Morris did not play the game. And that was the best part, is because that was the kind of game that is totally meant for the journalists.
Right.
It's just like, they all just want to play it.
Well, they want to suck on it so they can be like, well, I played this cool game. But they're not. I mean, that's why, talking about the culture and being a part of the culture are 2 different things.
2 completely
We're not
different
just talking about it. We're a part of it. And that's why we want to have the experience. We want to have, hi, by the way, Ray, what's going on? And we also want to have these experiences and interviews with you people. I've talked to Shawn about this, about talking to not only local people.
Oh God, Ray, you found the PAX video?
Oh boy.
There's a couple of them. I'm in there. But I got a Iwata shirt, or no, a Miyamoto shirt on. It's a green.
By the way, Talbot was asking, did you get your Iga signature at PAX?
I did not. I actually got that at one of the GameStop conventions. It was another one of those things where it was like nobody really knew him, and so like there were a couple people who got in line and they knew it was for a signature, but they didn't even know what it was for.
Right.
Same thing happened with Double Fine guy, Tim Schafer. Yeah, when I got to meet Tim Schafer, and that was funny too. They'd given us awards for like tenure and like superstar, and there was always like the weird ribbon that was just like, you are a great guy.
But we didn't have like a real award.
You just got a great smile. Right. I ended up giving Tim Schafer all my awards. I got to the front of the line. I was like, you know what? super guy seems like it's a lot more appropriate for you. And so he's like,
somewhere Tim Schafer has above his mantle.
He pinned it on there. He was like, I didn't think anybody would give me an award here. I was like, you're just a great guy.
Nice. Yeah, that's like a lot of journalism seems cynical, and that's why it's to fill a quota, and that's why we're not. And that's the other thing, we're not here to compete with them. We are not competing.
No way. And we would fail. Because they're like a super conglomerate.
Right. They're a super conglomerate that's obsessed with posting news all the time. We're not here to compete with them. Like we said, we're here to share experiences, share your experiences and our experiences about our culture, because that's what you're going to remember.
Well, it's just chatting about these kind of things, you know?
And just whatever.
Instead of Phil Fish is a dick, and everybody says Phil Fish is a dick just because he is,
right?
You know? And I'm not saying he isn't a dick, but that's the thing, is it's like you're just told what you're supposed to know.
Right, exactly. Yeah. You're conditioned, and that's why as a society I feel is the problem with our culture, is we're conditioned to feel a certain way or to say a certain thing, when really that's not the truth. That's not the truth at all.
Best experience. Completely true story. I'm in GameStop, and there's a guy talking about Kingdom Hearts, and he goes up to the guy. When is Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out? And the GameStop guy's like, what is Kingdom Hearts 3? I don't know. And he walks off and he goes, I bet it. He's like, why won't Capcom stop making stupid games and put out Kingdom Hearts 3?
Oh god.
And you're like, what? Like you are just like a game journalism abortion. Like, I hate. It's all Capcom's fault.
See, and that's
like, you don't even know, like, this game that you were so passionate about. You don't even know who made it. You don't even know anything about them.
Yeah,
like, that's
yeah. It's sad. It's sad. So that is what we're here to do. To not only to share experiences, but to inform. And that's why the great thing I do like about, when I talk to Eric and when I talk to Shawn, is that there's no condescending attitude when we talk about this. When I don't know about this stuff, I'm like, tell me. Like, he's showing me this game. He's like, oh yeah, it's based on this Commodore 64 game. I'm like, please tell me, inform me.
Yep.
And I found that a lot of people, especially when I did Substance TV, the show, were like that. They wanted to know more about this stuff. And they're okay to not know everything, and that's what.
Oh yeah, and I don't want us to say like we know everything.
No.
By all means, we're not waiting for you guys to scour the facts and find the fallacies in what we say. This is just one perspective, and I never want it to be the only perspective you have.
And that's why we have multiple contributors. We want to have different perspectives
and very different too. Yeah.
So
we've hit that topic.
Yep.
So JK, follow your dream, because believe it or not, if you just have confidence in yourself, then you too can have 12 or 13 viewers and just love it.
Enjoy it.
And just freaking love it.
Just enjoy it. That's the whole point behind it all. Because the second it becomes work, you failed at why you're doing it. And that's why we've talked about that. We've talked about when you do something, do it because you enjoy it. Don't do it because you're trying to make a paycheck. Because the first time you do that, you're going to hate it. So don't,
or
don't
11.
do it.
Only 11 now. Hold on, let me join the video. I'm interested in what's being
artificially pump the stats here. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I feel we've covered some good ground here.
We haven't talked about Kirby yet. I love Kirby.
I know you love.
Let's just say we love Kirby.
We do love Kirby.
If anybody doesn't love Kirby, just lie.
Return to Dreamland. Awesome, amazing game. Awesome, amazing game. So. There are a few people watching with me.
Sir Sable, thank you.
They have a party.
Kirby is badass. Kirby,
I
am willing to go on record, and I've sold him this, so it's not like I'm just saying it.
Yeah.
Kirby is my favorite Nintendo franchise. Undoubtedly. I mean, oh my god, it's just, Kirby is so good. It's a great experience. Game. It's not afraid to be fun, just fun, for the sake of being fun.
Exactly.
Like, that's it. In their games, everybody says, oh, their games aren't hard. Like, Kotaku literally gave it a no. They were like, don't buy Return to Dreamland because it's easy. And it's just like, what? Like, Return to Dreamland is so freaking awesome. And Kirby is a badass. Whether he is artificially made angry by Nintendo of America or not, Kirby is totally a badass.
You don't F with Kirby.
You don't.
Back.
Seriously, you don't.
You're buying the collection on Wii, I bet.
Oh, yeah. And then that's not to say that I don't own all the games already,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Kirby is so great. And it's the experience, especially the co-op experiences with Kirby are hilarious. Or Crystal Shards, where you're just experimenting.
Yeah, Crystal Shards is one of those weird games. Like, I look back at it, I mean, of course, compared to the newer games, it's not my favorite.
I actually don't really like Crystal Shards.
I don't really like Crystal Shards, but the fact that you could experiment with 2 power-ups and mix them together, like you have, it's very Gunstar Heroes. Like, I've got 2 spikes, so I've got super spikes, or my favorite was the boomerang.
No, the best power-up, absolutely no use whatsoever. But you pull out a thing of sandpaper and you rub it on your head really fast and you light your head on fire. And then Kirby just hands in the air, runs like a maniac at people. Like, I don't even remember that it does anything.
I don't know if it does
It's
anything.
just, that is brilliant. That's complete brilliance right there. And that's, it encourages you to just have fun for the sake of it. It's like I said, it's fun for the sake of fun. Yeah, in JK, you know, one thing that most people failed to do because they probably didn't finish the game was in Return to Dreamland, it actually has an incredibly challenging hard mode.
Right.
That is enabled when you beat the game. And it is fantastic. They actually have entirely different looking bosses. They have new moves, new boss patterns, new enemies added. I mean, it isn't just like everything does 2 damage instead of 1.
Exactly.
Like, it is a very, very well done hard mode. So, go play Return to Dreamland.
You got it. That's one of the
That's
gifts.
the Wii game, by the way.
The Wii game. That was my Father's Day present. And let me tell you, it was a very good Father's Day.
Yep.
I felt like a good father.
Yeah, Dad.
Because then it's a game I could also play with my kids.
It makes me want to be a father so people can buy me Kirby things. Like,
I want to have babies.
Yep.
I just want to have millions of illegitimate children.
The day that Mega Man is in Smash Bros. And I can have a Mega Man hat on Kirby, I just quit. You're seriously, you're gonna see it happen, and you're gonna imagine me just like, I'm done.
I'm done. I've played the best game ever.
Seriously, yep.
Kirby has Mega Man power.
I'll just be done.
But here's the question:
He'll copy.
what happens when Kirby copies a Mega Man power that he copied from a Mega Man boss?
See, that's the thing with Mega Man.
Will the world implode?
With Mega Man, though, all of his powers typically end up being projectiles. He takes the projectile attribute of the character. Kirby, a lot of times takes like the melee, aspect. So Kirby and Mega Man could coexist because you could have like Kirby, like Mega Man would get all the projectile versions of moves,
But would he like inherit moves that Mega Man?
You could go deep into this. Well, like if Kirby eat Businessman, do Kirby have to go to work?
See,
do you
Kirby
know?
ate Flashman?
Yep. If Kirby eat Devil, does he have to go to hell?
See, that's what I'm saying. Those are the questions you have to ask yourself.
These are the serious questions.
Yeah, we mean serious business in this cast here. So, well, we have covered the gamut of topics from gaming, culture, Kirby,
You could spit it out. Yeah.
packs.
Sometimes it's just easier to swallow.
That is true. That is so true.
It's just less painful for everyone.
It is. It's less painful, and
It's already there.
yeah, and it's kind. It's just good. It's good manners.
What do you got? What do you got, Talbane?
Oh, Talbane's got. Let's see. What you got?
Let's just have dead air and listen. We're gonna wait.
You're just making it awkward now. Did you hear? Did you hear what I hear? A sign, singing in the night. Let us bring him silver and gold. Let us bring him silver and gold.
Turn your Bibles to Corinthians.
Turn your Bible to Corinthians.
The Amano new graphic novel.
Yes, he
yes.
was telling me about this.
Yeah.
This is pretty epic.
It is.
It is actually. It's a good. It's an actual usable way of epic. It's not like epic, like I just took an epic dump. It's like actually epic. It's like multi-part. It is the Harry Potter of graphic novel.
Is that where we're going with it?
There's so many of them.
The Harry. Oh, that's the empty one.
There's so many of them. It is. 300 new paintings. Yeah,
It is going to be very good stuff.
that's gonna be hot.
We should throw it up. We'll throw something. We'll do a little
We'll do a
thing.
little something.
Do a little thing.
Plus, they've also got the Eyes of Bayonetta, the new art book that's coming out the first next year. Which
Eric,
I got on my Amazon.
you should throw up something about it. That would be cool.
should?
You should throw something up about it for us. You probably know a lot more than I do about it. So
It's very cool. It's going to be over, I think, 6 books,
that's something like that.
something like that, and it's. I barely even heard about it.
I will.
3 L's.
3 L's.
Not just the normal 2 L's.
Sometimes 2 isn't enough.
But 3 is enough.
Usually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that looks very cool. I'm looking forward to stuff like that. So see, again, awesomeness like that.
Nope.
Well, shall we say goodnight?
Should we?
Shall
we?
Should
we is a hard.
is a hard one, but shall we sounds a little more official.
So Yeah, that's fine. Next week we've seen a little bit of a want for some TurboGrafx love.
Yes, I think we'll be doing a little more gaming casting next
Yeah,
week.
we'll do a gamer focus. We had Superstar ready. That didn't really end up happening. So
It was on the back burner. It was ready.
next
At any
week
moment,
we
could
are
have brought
going
that.
to head into the gauntlet of my TurboGrafx library, for better or for worse.
The
And
gauntlet, and you will come out a man or a boy after that.
yeah, for all of you who don't know the TurboGrafx, don't know a lot about Hudson, don't know a lot about
Red.
Yep, all the people involved in the creation of the
It's another awesome
TurboGrafx.
company that could have done a better Castlevania game.
IREM is great. They
Yeah,
did a lot.
IREM,
They did a lot of support for the
Ninja
TurboGrafx.
Spirit. Oh my god.
So
Ninja Spirit, so hot.
we will go through what I've got, and then for the sake
I
of
see China Warrior. In the
for the
future.
sake of ignorance, we'll just say that everything will be legal. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
And so don't question it, and we will go over the games I don't even have either.
Yeah.
Rondo of Blood, yep, Splatterhouses, the Ease games. We're going to hit stuff like that. And all of those titles I actually own, so that's good. But we're talking about like Impossible and like the terrible like early FMV. We're talking the birth of Red Book Audio, which for anybody PS1 working designs eras, like
That's
you know
sexy.
Red Band Audio and the Red Book Audios were started here. So we're gonna have just a great little TurboGrafx
Grand
run,
old time.
and maybe Bonk Games, you're gonna find some love for the TurboGrafx.
Airzonk, baby.
Which was and we'll get some Airzonk going.
Love that game.
One of the unsung heroes of that generation.
Yeah.
Third generation.
I agree.
So-
I totally agree.
Be there.
Be there next week, 10 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we'll do it. So this is a great little cast, Sean. Thank
Yep.
you for being on.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Definitely. Thank you guys for sharing this.
This conversation would have happened. It just would have been a little sadder.
It would have been because we would have been talking to nobody.
We would have pretended we were talking to people.
We would have, yeah. We would have kept to make ourselves feel better. We would have kept the illusion up,
Yeah.
and then slowly broken down at like midnight. Been like, it wasn't real.
So
It's all fake.
we'll see you all next time, and I love you.
Give a little kiss.
Oh yeah, so nice. Bye guys.
See you guys.